Hey y'all, hey, welcome to It's No Cakewalk Masterclass Accelerator course. Welcome! Thank you guys so very much, for taking part of my journey. As I'm embarking on, I guess you would say, a new part of my journey. I'm doing more of business coaching and mentoring to you guys. Thanks to you guys always asking me questions about business and how to do certain things in business. How do you do this? How do you do that? Like, for instance, how do you price a cake? How do you get more customers coming into the door? How do you legally set up your business? And so much more. So I want to thank you guys so very much, for partaking in this journey. So now I'm here, to help you guys navigate through the journey of baking. So my experiences, all of my trials and tribulations and all of that stuff is now going to be y'all treasures. So I pretty much made all of the mistakes for y'all, and I know you guys are going through mistakes now and you're having adversity and you don't know how to get through. So it's been I'm going to help you get through that first. I'm going to help you get through that, help you navigate through that. But I can honestly tell you, it's absolutely nothing that you guys have been through or actually is going through that I haven't already touched inside of my journey. Let me explain to you guys why. A little bit about me. My name is Cynthia Carr. I got started in the baking industry back in 1995 when I was in high school. Yes, that's when I got started in the baking industry. I didn't go to culinary school after high school because, my parents couldn't afford culinary school. And I'm actually glad that I didn't go, because culinary school definitely wouldn't have taught me what I needed to know to run a successful business. So my business failed twice before I got it right. Let me backtrack just a little bit. My way of through college, because I didn't go to culinary school, was working at pretty much every bakery that I could in my city, county, in Baltimore, that I could, to learn everything that it is that I needed to know. Well, everything that I thought I needed to know. To learn everything it is that I thought I needed to know to help me embark on my journey of becoming a business owner. I started from the bottom and worked my way up there. I worked at your Sam's Club, your Costco's, all of your small business custom cake shops here in Baltimore. You name them, I pretty much probably worked at it. So after I did that, that was my way of education. After I did that, I felt as though I learned enough that I needed to know to start my own business. And 2005 is when I started officially Cakes by Cynthia business. I went out in 2007 for my very first retail store. Lo and behold, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I just did it because I felt that was the right step to do, to open up a business. And I knew that was my ultimate goal, was to get into a retail shop. Well, I went out into a retail store in 2007, and guess what? I was evicted within the first 3 months of opening that shop. I opened that shop in 2007 with just 3 months, not knowing that I needed to make enough in the business, not only to cover the bills in the business, but to also cover the bills at home. I wasn't thinking about that. So that business, the business didn't fail, but that store failed. It failed within 3 months. I was evicted and I was right back home in my kitchen. So I went back home in my kitchen. Okay, I learned from that. I knew what I needed to do next time that I come out to go into a retail store, that I needed to make enough money to not only pay my bills in the store, but enough money to pay the bills in the store and at home, because that is now your full-time job, to be in that shop. So that's the only income coming in. So you have to depend on that income to cover all of the bills that you have, in the shop and at home. So I came back out of my house again in 2009 and I went into another retail space. Only this time I lasted in this retail space for a little over a year. Yep, a little over a year. Then guess what? I was evicted again. The difference that happened this time is, yes, I was making enough money to cover the bills at the shop and at home, but what I didn't realize was that I needed to put that money back into the business. So I was spending the money faster than it was coming in, because I seen all of this money that I was making every week, and I was spending it faster than it was coming in. I was like, okay, I'm rich now, but I'm comfortable now. I have indisposable amounts of money, disposable amounts of money, that, I can go out and do whatever it is that I want. not realizing that I needed to put that money back into the business. So like I said, I lasted in that retail store a little over a year, and then I was evicted yet again. So that's why I said my business failed twice before I got it right. So I was back home in my home kitchen again, and I was like, okay, I'm going to come out again, but I really need to focus and take courses and learn and watch videos or whatever it is that I needed to do, so that way when I come out a third time that I wouldn't fail yet again. You know what I mean? So I came back out in 2013. The difference that I did in 2013 that I didn't do in 2007 and 2009, I'm gonna tell you, I got an accountant. Lord, that made all the difference in the world. When you get an accountant, you guys, because you have to be able to see your numbers on paper to actually see what your business is doing. Yeah, you may feel like one week I made $3,000, another week I made $2,000. Then you might have a week where as though you only made a couple $100. You need to have those numbers down on paper so that way you can actually see what your business is doing. And when I did that, we got an accountant. The business, I mean, it soared, and it soared fast, you know, because we had an accountant. So everything that was coming in, we was able to document it, you know, with the accountant. He was doing our bookkeeping, you know, keeping our books, telling us what we could spend, what we couldn't spend, what we had to cut back on, what we need to increase on, what we need to get rid of on the menu, what we need to, you know, enhance more, you know, and take it a step up, you know, on the menu for a particular item. You know, that's what the accountant was for. So I can't stress this enough to you guys, you know, when you want to get into a brick and mortar store, or even if you at home, if you being in a brick and mortar store is not your goal and you want to keep continuing working at home, which is fine, you need to get an accountant so you can actually see what your numbers are doing. That's like at the very top of the list. So that's how I got my start. I went through pretty much everything that you can think of, you know, in being in a retail space. You know, I had this retail space where I'm currently filming from in Baltimore, but in addition to having this space, I was opening up other brick and mortar stores as well. And I learned lessons from, you know, having those experiences and opportunity as well. I don't think I want to go the route anymore with opening up multiple stores. And here's why I don't want to do that. I don't feel like I want to open up another retail store. It's because I get to kind of control what goes on as far as the quality of the product that's going out. Because that's one of the things that you're going to have to really pay close attention to when you want to have multiple stores is quality control. You know, especially if you got baking going on at both locations. You can't be at two locations at one time. And I mean, truth be told, you guys, this is your baby. You know, you want to take care of it. You want that person that you have running your other location to take care of it like you would. And it's so hard to find those kind of people, you know, that will give the business the kind of attention that you would give. And sometimes you have those people and sometimes you won't. So in my experience, I didn't have that. So that's why I don't want to get into, again, with having multiple stores. Even if you have multiple stores, you can have it whereas though like your second store is a satellite store, and you can have everything baked at your commissary, which is your retail store, and then you can have everything delivered to your satellite stores. That sort of thing works as well. So I say all that to say that you guys are going to learn so much in this course. I mean, pretty much everything it is that you need to know to help you navigate through your journey being in the baking industry. This course is for anyone in the baking industry. It's honestly for anyone in the culinary industry, to be honest with you, because like I had mentioned before to someone when they asked me, is my course just going to be around baking? I was like, when you think about it, no, it don't have to be just around baking. Like, you can apply it to culinary in general. And I told them, just take out the word cake and into the word of what it is that you're selling. What if it's a cheeseburger or a hot dog? Take out the word cake into the word hot dog. The same rules apply. But honestly, you guys, this course is for if you're a hobby baker and you're looking to turn your hobby into a business. if you're a home baker and you're looking to still stay at home as a home baker, run your business at home as a home baker, or you want to be a home baker now and you want to go out into a retail space. Or you can already be in a retail space and you want to be able to scale. I say that you can't really do one without doing the other. All three really works together. Everything that you need to know as being a home baker is kind of the same thing that you need to know to be in a retail space. And whatever you have to learn to be in a retail space, it is the same thing that you need to learn if you want to take your hobby and turn it into an actual business. I have so much information that I want to pour into you guys. I had to write down all of the topics that we're going to be talking about and going over in these courses. Yes, I have everything documented for you in each module. It's 11 different modules that you guys are going to have to go through. All of the information is there for each one of the topics in those modules. However, there is a video to kind of give you explanation and to break it down, so that way it's easier for you to explain, and to also give you examples so that way you can apply it to your own journey. So some of the topics that we're going to be talking about, well, not some, these are the topics that we're going to be talking about in this course: marketing and branding, scaling your business, market research, recipe development, cost analysis, the legal requirements, that's a big one, the suppliers, production process, branding and packaging, testing and feedback, marketing and sales strategy, and how to launch. And also we're going to have some bonus content as well that I'm going to go over with you guys. And some of the bonus content that I'm going to be going over with you guys is going to be how, if you're in a retail store, or if your goal is to get into a retail store, how to set your store up so that way you'll be able to accept EBT, which is electronic benefit transfer. So I'm going to go over some content with that, so go over some information of that with you guys. I'm also going to be talking about what vending events that you should choose and how to research those vending events, and so much more that we're going to talk about. Oh, also how you guys can set up fundraisers in your business, whether you're working at home or if you're already in a brick and mortar. I'm going to be talking about all of these things for you guys. So thank you so very much for joining me on this journey. It's no cakewalk masterclass acceleration course. Welcome inside, you guys. Hey y'all, hey. Let's get into these lessons. Not only am I going to train your mind for you to be able to think different in business, you're also actually going to be able to see the day in the life of how I operate my business. So lesson 1, let's talk about market research. Market research being the overview, of course, the problem, and we're going to also talk about the solution. First things first, about when you're doing market research, you want to know who your target audience is. So there's different things that you should look for when determining who your audience is, meaning who are you going to be selling to? How old are they? What do they do for a living? Where do they live? All of those things matter when you're building your audience. You have to know who you're selling to, because we all know you can't sell to everybody. When you're trying to sell to everyone, you're selling to no one. Location plays a huge part on, when you're looking at your target audience. Whether you're working at home or you're in a brick and mortar store, think about your location. Where would you want your bakery to be? Where would you want your cake shop to be? What kind of people are in that particular area? Are there tourists in that area? Are there people that's going to work and coming home in that area? Are there already shops around you in that area? All of those things play a huge part on your target audience. I say all that to say, think of who it is that you want to purchase from you. What kind of lifestyle are they into? What do they do for a living? Are they stay-at-home moms? Do they work every day? Are they stay-at-home dads? Do they work every day? Are they into more budget-friendly things? Or are they into more lavish things? Or are they right into the middle? You need to know who your audience is and who you're selling to, because as I mentioned before, when you're trying to sell to everybody, you're selling to actually no one. So you gotta kind of have an idea who it is that you're selling to. So think about that. Are you going to offer budget-friendly cakes, or are you going to offer more lavish cakes? So that way that'll kind of give you an idea who it is that you're selling to and what audience it is that you need to be selling to, if that makes any sense. Now let's talk about competitor analysis, that is. Basically meaning, look and see what the competition is doing. Don't be afraid to look into that. Don't be afraid to go to their social medias. Don't even be afraid to go to their retail stores. You kind of want to have an idea of what it is that they're selling, because you don't want to sell the exact same thing that they're selling. You want to sell something that sets you apart from your competition. So for instance, if you're a cupcake shop and you have another cupcake shop about 2-3 miles away from you, look and see what type of cupcakes are they selling. How can you fit into that market and fill the void where they're not filling? Look at what makes them successful. That way you can kind of piggyback off of that a little bit to see exactly what it is that they're doing to create the buzz for customers to keep coming to their store. What are they doing different to keep people keep coming into their door, to keep lines out of the door? Look and see what they're doing. You definitely want to look at their pricing strategies. Do they have specials every week? Do they offer 2-fors, meaning buy one, get one type thing? You definitely want to look at that. You don't want to price yourself too high, but you also won't want to price yourself too low neither. Because you know what comes with when you're pricing yourself too low, because you feel like if you price yourself lower than them, then people will come to you. That's not always, that's not always the case. That's not always true. Because what can happen is if you price yourself too low, then your customers will look at it as, okay, I'm definitely going to get what I'm paying for because it's too cheap. You know what I mean? Like if it's cheap, that means I'm getting a cheap product. So you definitely want to be competitive in that area. Can you price lower than your competitor? Sure, you can, but I definitely wouldn't go super lower, than what my competitor is charging. Say for instance, if my competitor is charging $5 for their cupcakes and I charge $2 for my cupcakes, where do you think customers are going to go to get their cupcakes? They're going to go over to the bakery that's selling their cupcakes for $5. Why? Because they feel like, okay, if I'm coming over here getting a cupcake for $2, I already know they didn't really put their heart into it. They didn't really give me 100% in that cupcake. So I already know I'm going to be getting trash. So they're going to go over to the competitor that's selling cupcakes for $5. Because 9 times out of 10, they already have their mind made up and already have in their mind that they're actually going to get a better product. You also want to see what kind of gaps you can fill, when you're pricing your products. Say for instance, if the cupcake shop that's a couple of miles from you, all they sell is cupcakes. Maybe you want to step it up a little notch, sell cupcakes and ice cream. I mean, who doesn't love cupcakes and ice cream? You always want to upsell, a customer when they come into your store. You always want to upsell them. Take for instance, my shop. Yes, I'm a cake shop. I primarily sell cakes. But also, in addition to selling cakes, I also sell cheesecakes, I also sell puddings, I sell cookies, I sell ice cream. You can also get candles from here, because a lot of times when customers coming in to buy cupcakes or buy a cake from you, or even when they're picking up their order, they always need candles. Candles will always be a good addition to the menu items that you're already selling. And especially balloons. If you can get a helium tank in there, get a helium tank in there and invest in some balloons. I mean, there's tons of balloon vendors that you can order wholesale from. But definitely, whenever you have custom orders going out of the door, even with your daily items, like your cupcakes and your cake slices and, whatever it is that you're selling in your retail shop, and when you're picking up orders, balloons will sell each and every time. Because if they're picking up a cake, they're picking up a cake for a special occasion. So definitely, if you have the space for it, invest in a helium tank, get it in your store, and get some balloons. People always need balloons to go with their cakes. That's one of those things that a lot of bakeries don't think about when they're opening up their brick and mortar stores, is adding candles and adding balloons. Because that's something that your customers will always forever need when they come in to pick up an order. Who has a party or has a special occasion with a cake but not a balloon? Or a candle, for that matter? Think about that for a second. Okay, trend analysis. Look at and see what's popular in the industry right now. At one point in time, it was heart-shaped cakes. You couldn't get enough of heart-shaped cakes. They were everywhere. And then after the heart-shaped cakes, it turned into burn cakes, Lord goodness. Think about popular flavors, that you can pair together when you're doing like your cake slices and your cupcakes, like your everyday items. Think of popular flavors that you can put together and kind of have like a special once a week, what you can offer as a specialty item. You don't want to have that one particular flavor that's special on the menu no longer than 1 week, because it kind of burns out a little bit, if I'm being honest. So you kind of want to keep it interesting and keep it exciting. So I definitely will recommend switching up your specialty flavors every week. And also try out new things, new desserts, because people taste palettes change all the daggone time. So try out different things to see what people like. And if they don't like it, you trash it, you scrap it, meaning take it off the menu. Health conscious options, that's always a good way, a good thing to get into as well. Myself particular, I don't tend to indulge in vegan options or gluten-free options, because we don't have a market big enough here for that. Our audience doesn't really call for that. Every now and then we'll have a customer comes in that asks for a gluten-free option or a vegan option, but we don't carry it because there's not enough demand for it. So don't ever let customers to make you feel like you need to carry a particular item because 1 or 2 people is asking for it. That's not enough people to create a menu around sugar-free or vegan or gluten-free. 1 or 2 people asking for it is not a big enough market for that. Usually they have places that just sell just that. A vegan bakery. If it's a vegan bakery, they also carry gluten-free, there as well. Like if you notice, if you go to some of your cake shops that's in your area, you'll notice that they'll have everything in there that has a ton of sugar in it, but then they'll have one item that is gluten-free, or one item is vegan. I mean, I feel like if you're only going to just offer one option of that thing, like one vegan cupcake flavor or one gluten-free flavor, to me it's a waste, because you don't have enough demand to offer that sort of thing, if that's making any sense. You can take that money that you was putting into that one vegan cupcake that you were selling, and you can put that money into something else. You know what I mean? Especially if you're only going to offer just one vegan item or one gluten-free item. If you just want to add one, I highly recommend, just don't add none. Think of what specialty items resonates with your target audience. Like I spoke earlier when I was saying, how do you determine who your target audience is? You have to determine what type of customer it is that you're selling to. Is your customer, budget conscious? Or is your customer a customer that say, I don't give a damn what it costs, I'm going to pay for it? So you got to kind of understand who it is that you're selling to, so you'll know what to sell to them. Let's get into cost analysis. One of my biggest pet peeves when you're doing costing, when you're pricing your products, one of my biggest things is never ask someone else what you should charge for your product. Because at the end of the day, they don't give a damn. Because it's not their product, it's yours. So you should very well know your numbers. Never just throw a number, on your items because of what you think it should cost. Never just put a price on something, because of what you think it should cost. You should know your numbers. And the way to be able to do that is, first, you want to price out everything it is that you use for that product. You're going to write down every number, how much it cost you to make that product. The butter, the flour, the sugar. I'm just throwing some ingredients out there, to kind of better explain it to you. But you want to write down every number on every ingredient. You want to write down every cost on every ingredient that you use to make that product. And that first tells you how much the ingredients was. That first tells you that. And then you're going to determine, once you make that product, how many servings can you get out of that product. So if I made a cake that cost me $25, and I can get 10 servings out of that cake, each one of those servings cost me $2.50. Now, do you sell it for $2.50? Absolutely not. No, that just means that's what it costs you to make that. You got 10 servings out of that cake that cost you $25 to make. Each one of those servings cost you $2.50. And then you say to yourself, how long did it take me to make this product? So you ask yourself, now if I was working for somebody, how much would I want to get paid for this job? And be honest with yourself. Whether it's minimum wage, minimum wage here in Baltimore is $50. So whether it's you want to make minimum wage for making that cake or you want to make $22 for making that cake, be honest with yourself, because that's going to determine what your labor is. So if you want to get paid $20 an hour to make that cake, then that's what it costs. So the cake costs you $25 to make, then you put your labor in, you want to get paid $20 an hour. Okay, now the cake costs you $45 to make because you put your labor in and then you put your cost in or what it cost you to make the cake. So now the cake costs you $45. So now that the cake costs you $45 and you're still getting the same servings out of it, which is 10, divide 10 into 45, each serving is now $4.50, not $2.50. See how I did that? So you don't just price your cake at what it costs you, you also have to put your labor in there, whatever that number is that you want to pay yourself an hour. So now each one of those servings costs $4.50. Do I sell this cake for $4.50? No, because you still want profit. Stick with me now, stick with me. I know these numbers probably making your head spin, but stick with me. But no, you don't want to sell that serving for $4.50 because you need a damn profit. I didn't just do this for free. Granted, I did just get paid for my labor, but I don't want to do this for free. Now, FYI, just for good measure, your supplies are going to cost far more than $25. So don't be thinking that, okay, it only cost me $45 to make this cake. No, it's going to cost you far more in supplies. I was just using that for a generic, for a generic number, to kind of help you better understand. But back to what I was saying. Do you sell that item for $4.50? No, you don't sell that item for $4.50 because you still need profit after you done already put in all the costs that it cost you to make that cake. Me, I always scale my numbers up. When I'm including my profit, I usually scale my numbers up to about 70%, meaning 50% is left for profit and the other 20% goes towards, your overhead, like the bills, the rent, the gas, and things like that. So I always scale my numbers up by 70%. Like I said, 50% is usually for profit and the other 20% goes to my bills. Okay, now that you did all of that, now let's test our product. So you always want to test your products before you start selling it on a larger scale because you don't want waste. Waste is very costly when you have to start throwing things in the trash. You can test your product at places like farmers markets, bridal shows, all within reasons, of course, because those vendor fees can get through the roof. So you have to make sure that it's cost effective for your business. When testing your products, try not to test your product with your family and friends. They are not the people that you want to test your product with because most of the time, they're not going to tell you the absolute truth. And that's not a good thing or a bad thing. They're just not going to tell you the absolute truth. So don't test your product with your family and friends because your family and friends are the ones that's going to say, oh, you should open up a cake shop. You should do this. You should do that. You should sell this everywhere. You should go get a store. You should start this business. You should do that. Never leave it up to your family and your friends. You want to test your product with complete strangers. That's why I say you want to do farmers markets. You want to do pop-up shops, you want to do bridal shows, but again, all within reason because vendor fees are high. So you don't want to go into these things being upside down. Remember, because you're just going into it to make money, yes, but to also mainly to get the feedback from the people. Now that you've done all of that, now it's time to put together your marketing strategy and how you're going to get those customers to come in your door. How do you plan on reaching your target audience? Is it going to be social media? Of course it's going to be social media. That's pretty much the only way that we advertise these days. Magazines, dead. News, News kind of still work if you want to get a segment on the news. Newspapers, people don't really read newspapers anymore. So all of the marketing for most businesses out here is always done on social media. So how are you going to do that? Are you going to launch campaigns like with Facebook and Instagram ads? Are you going to launch campaigns on Google ads? You can also collaborate with influencers. You can collaborate with other small businesses in the area by asking other small businesses, is it okay if you do like a small pop-up table or something, you know, in their location, offering samples of your products and telling them how they can get in touch with you to place their own orders. Collaborating with influencers are huge these days, especially if you have a website like Shopify. Shopify has this app on their website that you can use called Collabs. Whereas though you can download that app to your Shopify store and you can create an application on your Shopify website. So that way you can have influencers from all over the country reach out to you so they can be able to collab with you by helping promote your product to spread the word. You know, especially if you have an item that's shippable, that you can ship across the country, it's definitely an opportunity there for you to have that Collabs app on your website if you have a Shopify store. So that way influencers can reach out to you and you can send items out to them. So that way they can try and they can do reels and videos to it and share the news about your products. Now, by going through all of these steps that I just gave you, you can gather valuable insights that can help you create a very successful product and establish a very strong presence in this market. So if you guys are ready to learn more gems like the ones that I just gave you, my experiences are now your treasures. Those treasures are going to help you navigate in your journey to becoming a very successful bakery business owner. So if you guys are ready to learn more and come inside the classroom and learn absolutely everything that it is that you need to learn to help you navigate, like marketing, Facebook ads, how to grow your social media presence, vending events, food trucks, legal requirements and suppliers, you know, wholesale, and so much more, then look out in your email box for an email from me inviting you in the class. And it's a special gift just for you guys, an exclusive offer just for you guys. And I can't wait to see you guys in the classroom. Did I mention there are also going to be live Zooms where you guys get to ask all of your questions over in our private Facebook group? That's the most exciting part for me. I can't wait to talk to you guys. Bye.